In this exclusive report, delve into the heart of the Danish monarchy, shaken by a historic decision, the withdrawal of royal titles from 4 of Queen Margrethe II's grandchildren. For the first time, the sovereign expresses her feelings of emotion and regret in a rare and poignant confession. Why did she act this way? What is the true scope of her apology? Discover the inner workings of this family and institutional crisis, a blend of tradition, modernity, and personal pain. A captivating, sincere, and moving account. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment to make sure you don't miss any of our upcoming exclusive videos on royals from around the world. She was long perceived as one of the last European sovereigns to reign with the quiet authority of the great ladies of the past. An elegant, cultured, and stable figure. But in a few words, the mask cracked, and her voice broke. In an unexpected public confession, Queen Margrethe II of Denmark admitted a wound she herself inflicted on her own family. In an unprecedented gesture since the beginning of her reign in 1972, the sovereign apologized as a mother. A painful, sincere, and emotional apology that resonated like an admission of suffering and loneliness, hidden behind royal duty. It all began in September 2022, when Queen Margrethe abruptly announced that the children of her youngest son, Prince Joachim, would no longer bear princely titles as of January 1, 2023. Thus, Prince Nikolai, Prince Felix, Prince Henrik, and Princess Athena became simply Count and Countess of Montpezat. The decision shocked, outraged, and hurt. In the hours that followed, Denmark erupted. Public opinion began to wonder, how could a grandmother strip her grandchildren of their princely status? What is the price of modernizing the monarchy? And above all, what is the heart, the dark side, behind this radical decision? In a statement, the Queen initially cited the need to ensure greater freedom for her grandchildren. A rational, cold, almost administrative justification. But the veneer quickly cracked. The reactions of Joachim's children were painful, sometimes violent. The young Prince Nikolai admitted to having been taken by surprise. "We are all very sad. We don't understand why this is happening." Joachim, for his part, spoke with misty eyes, describing a decision he considered humiliating. The rift was open. Public opinion, usually respectful and admiring, began to divide. Some applauded the courage of a necessary reform. Others denounced a personal betrayal, a direct attack on family unity. Then, a few months later, when silence seemed to have fallen, Queen Margrethe took everyone by surprise. In a rare televised interview, on the occasion of her 83rd birthday, she reflected on this tumultuous period. Her voice quavering and her gaze grave, she says these words: "I underestimated the personal impact of my decision. This saddens me deeply. I never meant to cause pain. I acted as a queen. But as a mother, I must acknowledge the pain this has caused." And then, the tone changes. The Queen no longer speaks as a monarch, she speaks as a mother, a grandmother, a woman. She apologizes, publicly, for the first time in her more than 50-year reign. This moment of truth, of overwhelming intensity, rewrites the personal history of a dynasty. For Margrethe, in doing so, reveals what palaces too often hide: the human dilemmas, the painful decisions, the broken hearts behind the guilt. She admits that her desire to modernize the monarchy has come at an enormous emotional cost. A cost she now measures acutely, in the twilight of her royal life. But why this decision? Why now? Behind the gesture lies a complex institutional reality. Margrethe, like other European sovereigns, is seeking to streamline the monarchy. The Swedish model, initiated by King Carl XVI Gustaf, has gained traction, reducing the number of official royals for budgetary and symbolic reasons. The Queen of Denmark thus wanted to prevent her grandchildren from being locked into a ceremonial role that didn't suit them. But the method was shocking. The lack of consultation, the abruptness of the announcement, and the symbolism of the withdrawal of titles resonated like emotional abandonment. For in a monarchy, titles are not just functions. They are also marks of belonging, legacies of identity. Prince Joachim, exiled in Paris with his wife Marie, found himself, despite himself, at the center of a media and emotional storm. Their relationship with the Queen became strained. Communication became rarer, colder. For a time, the family appeared to be fractured. And the Danish public, distraught, observed this royal disunity with a kind of sadness. And yet, Margrethe's belated confession moved many hearts. Because it embodies a truth that all families know: error, regret, and the desire to make amends. Her courage to admit her fault, in broad daylight, with humility, became a rare moment of sincerity in a world often frozen by protocol. The sovereign may have thus initiated a reconciliation. Prince Joachim publicly welcomed his mother's words, calling her apology an important step towards mutual understanding. Princess Marie, more discreet, nevertheless let it slip that dialogue had resumed. This pivotal moment also reveals the evolution of a changing European monarchy. For behind a grandmother's tears lie fundamental questions about hereditary power in an age of transparency, democracy, and individualism. Monarchs can no longer simply govern. They must convince, inspire, and justify. And sometimes, like Margrethe, acknowledge that they have hurt others, even unintentionally. Queen Margrethe has always embodied stable authority, a pillar at the heart of the kingdom. But this family crisis has revealed another side of her, that of a woman torn between her role and her heart. A woman who, on the eve of her abdication, which will occur in early 2024 in favor of her son, Frederik X, chose to leave the throne having put words to a wound she did not want to leave behind. This reconciliatory, intimate, almost painful word resonates today as a precious legacy, a lesson in humanity, well beyond the borders of Denmark. Car au fond, cette histoire n'est pas seulement celle d'une reine et de ses petits enfants. C'est aussi l'histoire universelle de tous ceux qui portent des responsabilités si lourdes qu'elles finissent parfois par étouffer les lignes du sang. Une histoire où l'amour et le pouvoir s'affrontent, où la vérité finit par surgir quand on ne l'attend plus. Et vous, si vous avez dû choisir entre votre devoir et votre famille, que ferez-vous?